There you go. Ahead of, clearly. Maybe she even has some super version of Prime, right? It's gonna, it's gonna. You can't get it delivered here in the next hour. All right. So you're looking at Board of Education District 2. Yep. Is there a motion? Okay. Margie has moved that it's a vote for Natalie Zimmerman. Daniel has seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, Margie, Daniel, Ani, Alex, Diane, and I vote aye. Thank you all. Kevin is busy. Yeah, but if it's a board referral, it's not going to come to us right now. It's going to come to us later, I believe. Okay. Everyone else went? Yeah, but so do we. Excellent. So we also had full tables today, I believe.
You had two referrals on 0519, two referrals in that, there are two separate ballots.
Okay.
And um, I would say that there would be some consideration for delegates to the Democratic National Convention, as well as the Board of Education at large. Both of those are.
Okay. Um, oh, that's interesting. All right. So this is what the Democratic convention delegates look like. I got it here. Nope. I get it. So this is what that looks like. And then this is what Board of Education at large looks like. I'm going to go this way this time. And then I will be happy to make a motion just to keep things moving. Margie, did we ever find your county seal? Okay. It may take us a bit. We have more over there. Okay. Okay. Yes, we are. That's it. That's it. Those two. Okay. I will move that we count all of the markings for delegate to the Democratic National Convention. That would include Molly Byron, Scott Cronin, Ryan Middleton, and Arlethea West. And I would move that we count the Board of Education at large for Lynn Harris, given that the other three candidates are crossed out. Okay, any discussion? Margie, Daniel, Tommy, Alex, Diane, and I vote aye.
It is from 0519, and it is for, the question is on the both President of the United States and United States Senate.
Boy, this is a head scratcher. I mean, yes and no. You'll see. Okay, so the vote for United States President has a filled-in circle and the word no next to it. The vote for U.S. Senate has a filled-in circle and the word no next to it. And the only other marked race on the ballot is Board of Education at large, which has a filled-in circle without the word no next to it. Okay, so it would have been a real head scratcher if there were no vote on the whole ballot. But whatever the case. Okay, so take a look. And the only question before us is President of the United States and U.S. Senate. Is there a motion? Alex, is there a second? Any discussion? Okay, Alex, Diane, Margie, Daniel, Tommy, and I vote aye. There is something unambiguous about the word no. Well, if the voter were a 2-year-old, you might say, no. Yeah, when they mean yes. Right. No, no, yeah. Okay.
And next,
That's a possibility. What is it? What is that? Can I see it? Oh, it's a duplication. Oh, you're saying this was the original?
yeah, it is. Well, it is.
Okay. Okay.
And this becomes delegates to the Republican National Convention and alternate delegates to the Republican National
Okay. So we have votes for 3, and this is delegate to the Republican National Convention, and this is alternate delegate for the Republican National Convention, which is also a vote for up to three.
And it uploads automatically to my files, so then it goes ahead and goes immediately. So I don't have to worry about duplicate.
It does it automatically every so often.
No, I can email it to a final server.
Oh, very good. So basically,
Losing paper.
right. So right. So basically, you have a way of taking notes and not losing your notes.
Theory, yes.
Yes.
It's working so far.
How long have you had it? Okay. If you make it all the way through the election without losing your notes, I think it's a keeper.
Yeah, well, Vince Forrest, they thought it remarkable. Yeah. Yeah, you can upload it. It's just, it's just another fancy iPad. So you take handwritten notes, then you take them and then you can upload.
Okay. Has everybody seen the ballot? Is there a motion? Alex? So it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay. Alex, Diane, Tommy, Margie, and I vote aye.
And that's from 0419. And this year becomes, well, I think there's an obvious, you can look at the Board of Education at large. I think you'll find it self-explanatory. Board of Education District 4 is from New York.
Okay, let me show both. This is and then there's Board of Education District 4, which is there we go. This way this time. I don't think at large is really ambiguous. But
I will be here Saturday. Yes.
I'm here. I'm here anytime we need. If you bring candy, you'll make me mad. Yeah, yeah. But you didn't today, so thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. All, all the Board of Education are vote for one. Okay. Are we ready? Is there a motion? Okay, is there a second? Any discussion? Okay, Daniel, Tommy, Margie, Alex, Diane, I vote aye. Thank you.
It's the Board of Education at
Okay. Board of Education. I will go this way this time. Is there a motion? Is there a second? Okay, I'm going to call the roll. Margie, Daniel, Ami, Diane, Alex, and I vote aye. People confuse the Board of Elections and the Board of Education constantly. We're yeah, yeah, exactly. How much hair I had, whether I was wearing glasses or, etc. I had a lot of hair on the Board of Education. I've had much less on the Board of Elections. No, it's not cause and effect. There were quite a few years in between. I think there's a cause and effect in that. But I think this through from basically from age 18 to age 50 is in between. Is that right? Yeah. What I'm saying is I left the Board of Education at age 18. I joined the Board of Elections at age 50. So I lost my hair in between. You know, I was the very first student member, they call
it. In 1354, and it's in delegates to the Democratic National.
Okay, so this is what the that is I'm gonna go this way this time. Because okay, it is a vote for 10. There are 11 candidates. No, we have the canvassers that we can get. Um, because well, in the past we didn't always have 50 tables ready all the time. We are we are much more ready for a larger number of ballots, whether or not we have.
It's kind of unusual because for the weather's bad, there's fewer people, which is kind of good. One is that this is why I rather do that than just sitting at home.
Right. But some people don't want to get in their cars. Yeah. Yes, Alex. Okay. Which also would be all of the Biden delegates to be consistent with when you said all of the Haley delegates. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Alex, Diane, Anu, Daniel, Margie. Okay, it is unanimous. Kevin wasn't kidding when he said that they were going to be gone before we were. So I'm not.
Okay, so the next is, um, okay, you rank on things. Board of Education District Two.
Okay. Um, Here we go with it is a new wrinkle in things. Board of Education District 2. Which way did I go last time? I think I went this way last time. I'll go this way this time. One of the things I have learned in my years on the board of elections, that voters do just about everything we can. Drawn a picture. They haven't drawn a picture of a person. We have had color commentary on every candidate. Like literally, they would say this person is this person is that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Literally, we had like every candidate. There was commentary, but they didn't sign their name, so we accepted the bill. You know. Um, no, that's true. It is not an identifying mark. Although I suppose that someone could argue that the dual based on the kind of silhouette. But okay, everybody seen it? Is there a motion? Is there a second? Any discussion? Okay, Alex, Ami, Daniel, Margie, and I vote aye. Right? So they circled. And they saved us the trouble of figuring out whether the X was first or second or whatever. No, that's it for that container. He's got another container. That was the appetizer. Here's the main course. When you say waiting for you, meaning waiting to talk to you or waiting? Go ask her quick. Can you do it in less than a minute? Go. Yeah, we can start looking. Speaking of voters do just about everything. So this is the vote for president. Okay. The issue. or maybe just a particularly shiny car wash, you know, no worries. No, 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 no worries. Huh. Just the president. That's all it is. Is there a motion? Alex, is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, voting, Alex, Diane, Lunky, Daniel, Tommy, and I vote aye.
Seven. The first is the, so I think there are questions for you to evaluate with regard to U.S. Senate as well as uh, Board of Education at large.
I'm sorry. Board of Education.
U.S. Senate, Board of Education.
We had to get this one right after that last one. All right, so this is what it looks like. And then the Board of Education at large. And okay, I've lost track of which way I'm going. So, you know, okay. Is that right? Meet. She won't be offended if I never come to Canvas. Yeah, I wouldn't believe her if she said that. But she by adding that, you know, that means that she's going to try and determine my intent of whether I'm doing it intentionally or whether I'm just left-handed. You know, so, right. Because Diane will be reading my mind. All right, you haven't been this way yet, correct? Okay, I've lost track. Senate and Board of Ed. Going to develop the what? To get it first. Okay. I am attempting to do it even-handedly, but my memory's not so good. Okay. The chair will entertain a motion about the Board of Education first. Is there a second? Okay, Daniel, Ami, Margie, Alex, Diane, and I vote aye. Okay. Uh, okay, go ahead, Diane. Okay, is there a second? Okay, any discussion? Okay, we'll vote. Diane, Alex, Margie, Daniel, Ami, and I vote aye as well. Whoops. There's an issue, more consideration with regard to judges, essentially, and for the Board of Education at large. Okay, so this is for judges. I don't see too much of an issue there, but I do realize we ask people to send us everything. This is we'll go this way. Judges. Kevin. Kevin is we have our low bar for what the board pays, and then we will adjust it. Or is it? Yeah, the markings are not exactly the same. Yeah, we have a question about what the person was thinking, but not one about their intent as far as we're concerned. Well, then we have the ultimate question of intent. Why did you vote for 6 people? But I would bet that if we were able to actually measure it, that a lot of people don't, including those who comply with them. I think a lot of people don't read. We have a lot of non-LSAT takers who vote.
Oh, it does not depend.
It does. Oh, I don't know. I think we have a trick question where we say don't erase when we don't want people to use pencil. So, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So let me just do this by unanimous consent. Does anybody believe that there's an issue related to the? Okay, so by unanimous consent, we'll accept the judges as is. It can go to the machine the way it is. Any other question for the Board of Education at large? Is there a motion? Okay, is there a second? Okay, moved by Margie, seconded by Ami. Any discussion? Okay, we will vote. Margie, Jeannie, Ami, Alex, Diane, and I vote aye.
Camera.
My camera is on. Do I need to turn it off? Okay. The camera is off.
Okay, so this is in 0905, and the question is whether a person has, well, I guess it's pretty clear how they voted, represented Congress, District 6, but is that an identifying mark? What I'm going to hand you is the ballot and the person's signature.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Well, this is, you may recall, I think we should eliminate that law. Um, you do. And here you are expressing your remorse, but you still want to make it a rule. It's in the sample ballot, it says, because I insisted on inserting the sample ballot, sign the oath, not the ballot. But we do not tell people what they should do when they make a mistake. And, to get another ballot. But in a mail-in ballot, that's not going to happen. So Diane's empathy is gone. Yeah. Yes, it lasted less than 5 minutes. Okay. Diane, you can make this motion. I'm waiting for your motion. I'm not making it. No, no, no. Make your motion as to what we are going to do. Is there a second? Okay. Is there now discussion, Diane? No discussion. Oh, I agree. Diane is deferring because she supports this policy on the gun. The policy states, the law states that if there is an identifying mark on a ballot with the intent to identify, that we are required to reject the ballot. On our board, we have a long history that if somebody initials a change, we do not consider that an identifying mark because someone's initials could be, lots of people have the same initials. In this case, the voter signed their name. It was very clearly the same signature as the signature on the envelope. We are required by law to reject it. My own personal view is that I don't like the law. I would love to change the law. State legislators, if you're out there, this law is preventing someone's ballot from being counted because they made a mistake. They wrote their name next to it because they thought they were supposed to, but they were not. Good. We do not require people to sign a ballot. They sign it on their own. I'll just point out that this voter, no one made this voter sign their name. They signed it on their own. No one required this voter to not be anonymous. They did it thinking that they needed to in order to tell us that the change on the ballot was their own. Okay. All right, but all right, but the purpose of the statute is to prevent corruption that would result in someone essentially getting a reward for having voted a certain way. And in this case, first of all, no one other than us. Second, and oh, agreed, agreed. No, that's true. That's true. I just wanted to be on record saying that I think the law is stupid. I mean, I do intend to follow. I have, and I will say it again. But that's that again right now. All right, all those in favor will vote aye. All will vote no. Diane, no, no.
I think you did vote, and then you said, I'm about to go ahead and make a statement.
I don't believe we voted. We're going to vote again. Alex, the question is rejecting the ballot. Right. The motion was to reject the ballot. Alex,
I feel out.
Diane,
Okay, yeah. You want to say
All
something.
Margie, aye. I vote aye. Reluctantly. Go ahead.
Bill 426, one of our favorite flag marks, is the votes for delegates to the Democratic National Convention District 8, and whether that is an overvote or it's votes for 10.
Which way did I go last time? I'll go this time. This way this time. Okay. Yeah, we're going to be here for a bit.
Yeah.
Is there a motion? Identify by the president candidate if you want. Okay, is there a second? Any discussion? Okay, Daniel, Ami, Margie, Alex, and I vote aye. I think you should.
Do a lot of stuff. Oh, yeah, that turns out to be a pretty good idea right there.
Yeah. Alex is clearly resistant to change. So it took him a while to get there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Either that or he thought we were going to be done soon. And but he has way too much experience for that.
And so the issues are for U.S. Senator and for representatives in Congress District 6, I may need to take a chair up for that.
Oh my. No, it's this one and this one. This is the vote for Senate. Supposed to be a vote for one. And it's the vote for District 6 Congressional, also a vote for one. For one races and canvassers. Yeah, okay, okay.
Okay.
Well, they'll have more ballots soon. So they will be staying later. We'll be staying about the same amount of time.
Theoretically, we could have moved this up to maybe one, but
Yeah.
we're still getting more. Hey, we're done.
He wasn't talking about us. He was talking about them.
Take care.
Okay, does anyone have a motion? Oh, is there a second? Any discussion? Okay, we will vote. Alex, Diane, Margie. So the vote is 5-1, with Diane being the one in favor of Alex's motion. No, I understand. Five of us voted in favor of Alex's motion and Diane voted against it. Well, whatever I said, five of us, five of us supported.
That was five.
Right. My intent was five of us voted for Alex's motion. Diane voted against it, and no one no one provided an explanation. So, well, we can, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Maybe.
Tomato 6. Nothing there. Oh, okay, this shouldn't take long. Delegates to the Democratic National Convention.
Okay. I think I went that way last time. I'll go. First, can thank the staff because they had a whole supply of them back there. Okay. I got lucky. I started asking where I could find water, and they said right here. So is there a motion? Daniel, is there a second? Any discussion? Okay, Daniel, Ami, Margie, Diane, Alex, and I vote aye. We're getting there at the bottom.
For a raise. And issue Board of Education have planned.
Jason at large. Okay. Is what it looks like. There a motion? Board of Education. Is there a second? Any discussion? Margie, Daniel, Ami, Diane, Alex, and I vote aye.
Tell me to get your camera off there.
Okay, camera's off. That's okay. We don't have to repeat all our speeches this time. It has. We just have to see whether this fits into that category or not.
Yeah, I just figured you told me I, I forgot exactly what it was. So what exactly did this voter do?
Okay. Forgot a page. Okay. Okay. So, so the first, but he signed the part where he said misprint. He he incor he incorrectly said misprint blank because it wasn't a misprint. It was supposed to be blank, but signed it. Okay. And do we have the envelope so we can hang on. No, no. If it's an intent to identify, so it looks like the voter has given first initial, middle initial, and last name. And on the oath, the voter has done their full name plus a junior. So yes. No. He signed.
So this ballot actually could be rejected for two reasons. He's got an identifying mark. He's also voted the wrong thing. The only reason he could be eligible is he voted.
Oh, is that right? Oh, wow. So we can just reject it as a wrong party ballot as well.
He's not eligible.
He did.
He copied his mark.
He's an unaffiliated voter. He signed. He's no, no, no. We can reject it for one of two reasons. Right. Well, it's a confusing situation. Okay. And that he signed. So we basically have to reject. Right. But hypothetically, if he were to send back a copy of his wife's ballot, he's not eligible to vote. And let's suppose that he didn't even check the boxes. He checked the box. And he were to send it back, we would reject it because he signed the back of his ballot. Okay. Whether or not he sent that back. And then we could fight for the rest of the day about whether sending back the part that he's not eligible for. He just gave us. No, it doesn't because it's a blank ballot and or anything he was eligible for, he signed it. I'm not sure I would agree that that's a stupid law, but okay. Yeah. Right. 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 Kevin. Right. Right. Go ahead. Yeah. Right. Kevin is anticipating what we're about to do. Right on. On the basis of we can't we cannot we cannot reject a ballot without a reason. My opinion. Okay. Okay. Is there a second? Any discussion? More discussion. Okay. We'll vote. Diane. Alex. Rejecting the ballot as a result of the signature. Margie. Daniel. Ami. I don't.
Yeah, that completes
This board referral
this
session.
board referral.
Okay.
You all can talk about identifying marks.
Okay. I am going to turn this off and turn that one on. Kevin. And I thought it was, and I thought it was the water I got her. You know. You know why. Hmm. He says the same name we just had. Might mean that we've just been given the same ballot back. I don't know. He's about to find out. And Boris is diligently but patiently waiting. Pa- patiently waiting. He no, he can't start duplicating because he's one person. We don't do duplications as one person. Some people would consider that to be fraud. Are we done, Kevin? Okay. So it's an interesting question because we have Columbus Day or whatever else. I forgot what else. It is but basically we have that particular holiday is a federal holiday, but not a state holiday. And it's I think the state and county are different as well. I'm wrong. Maybe I have it wrong. Maybe it's a state holiday in the county. Whatever the case.
we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But also, it's interesting because law about early canvas requires that we start canvas 8 business days before early voting. So we have to decide whether that day is a business day. So if it is a business, if it's not a business day, we have to start canvas on the previous Friday. No, if it's a business day, then we start on Monday. If it's a non-business day, I believe we start on Friday, to get 8 days back from the vote. Ordinarily, county takes back the Thursday, but could run on the Thursday. But if that Monday is a holiday, so the Friday. I don't know which is better for us, but I mean, I guess for people who get the day off, it's fewer day to worry about taking.
That, you know, I pointed out the moment the calendar came that I thought that they were not calculated, because I would count it as a holiday. Right, right. Well, I'm about to not have to worry about it. But I will still have to worry about the state and the county. And, you know, remember, we are kind of an anomaly. And if the state board says, well, we're closed, you know, then how does that affect us? I mean, the law, I don't think the law actually confirmed it. So we will see how that plays out. But that's a long way to go. I will say, we will not be canceling, like, we're going to get a lot more ballots in advance. We're going to get a lot more ballots, period. You know.
I feel like I've been offered something around.
I would say that our helping, first of all, if we were to limit ourselves, staff can actually be more comfortable, because that way we are sure what the answer is. But as far as the filling in the pen, that is something that any of us can do. But we've had canvases where we just teams of 2 up here took a batch like they do, batch. And if there's enough ballots, that would probably be a better choice as well. Because at the moment it doesn't matter. But remember, when we get to the fall, we have 2 things to think about. We have a change in the state law that we're going to have the state certification meeting. We have 30 days instead of 5, which will push us back. And then we also have the, well, I'm leaving aside for education. State has to finish the count early enough to meet the electoral college deadline. Because Maryland will not be in a situation where they do not submit their ballot slate of electors. The electoral college deadline was changed by the electoral college electoral count act. Electoral count reform changed the electoral count act in various ways that they changed the deadline. But if we have to work on that, we have to be. We have to make that deadline. We will not be the first board of elections in history to miss the electoral college deadline. But let's suppose hypothetically, let's suppose that we have a congressional race or Senate race that's too close to call and recount. You know, I mean, that recount could easily be in December. So, you know, we have to figure that out. The biggest thing is no one should make plans to leave town for the Thanksgiving. You know, probably, but not Thursday. Usually we take Thanksgiving. Whether we take the day after Thanksgiving off depends on ballots, depends on canvassers, etc. in 22, we were, our last day of canvas was the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And I believe that the staff worked on Friday and nobody worked. So, and I mean, and ideally, that's what we would do, but Thanksgiving is, on the 28th, I believe, of November, and the Board of Education term by law, we had this whole discussion on Board of Education term, starts December 1, which is that Sunday after Thanksgiving, which means we gotta be done, unless we're just gonna say to them, sorry, we're not done. Which, you know, that's not really a good answer, right? So now what that means is also, that's another reason why, if I said to you all, okay, we're going to canvas every day of Thanksgiving week. Let's suppose for a moment Thursday is just off. So we canvas every day of Thanksgiving week, or we're going to canvas a bunch of Sundays, which would be 10. You know, and I think that's part of the problem. If we don't have 4 members who come in a little bit early, we do practices so if she goes to night Saturday night, come on Sunday. I believe that Diane, you and me can be here on Sunday morning. You and Keena and Alex can go to church. But and that, first of all, that relies on the 4 of us to be available. Relies on him to consistently go to that Saturday service and come in on us. And relies on the service on Sunday mornings to come in. They do. And again, I don't really want to be word of these on Thanksgiving Day, right? I can see me doing one. You know. We can meet Sunday afternoons, but the problem with that is, we're basically, we're paying everybody to be here, including our staff. We're basically doing all that. You know, well, agreed. I'm not saying it's out of the question, but what, especially if you don't have a quorum on Sunday morning, or you don't have a canvas, then it might be that's the case, and then we you know we'll do a half day. We have to see how that goes, and I don't think the primary is really giving us any useful data. You know. Well, awesome. That helps. Yeah, that's all. Look at it. If you are able, if what you're saying is that you're willing not to go travel during that week, you're going to be here, but that means, right? So I'm sorry. Right, exactly. So it may very well be that means is that you can be available that week when some others may not. So it's also possible. If we have a board member who really, okay, if we have a board member who counts for whatever, we'll just not be here. It makes it easier. But I think the chances, look at the calendar, I think the chances that we are done for that is what in a shorter ballot. The 22 ballot is much longer. So that helps. But we are going to have ballot questions. And we're probably going to have more people paying attention. And it remains to be seen. What we learn on Tuesday night will kind of determine how many observers we have. If we have no close races, everything's determined on Tuesday night, we'll have strong. We want to see what we're about. So if we have a close race on 6 CD or we have a close race in I don't think we get those for conventional, but and you could have a really close race to election, but that'll be more like your subject. Like, did you ever come here to see us when we were candidate? You're right there. So here's trusted. And you know, right. I mean, you were right to trust us. I guarantee you counted every vote. But I will say that, you know, it'll be interesting to see what everyone feels like.
Because I'm like, we don't need to have a lot of people.
No,
For the building. I shall return. Today I like spent all the
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not an expectation. And I will definitely say that, like I said, I think the staff would be more comfortable if we were to do balance, then if we were to do that. Now, I will say it's very delicate. So let's just say that obviously each of us has a different knowledge level and knowledge level. Yes. And in reality, none of us should ever get this. And none of us should ever feel silly for asking a question. So I've had people all day asking me, put it in this folder, do I put it in that folder? Say, beats me, I'll go ask the chef. You know, because I've been on the board for, you know, ever. But basically, I would, you know, I would prefer that we have a system that, you know, one process than I demonstrate to everyone. You know, so they'll be happier if we actually do less. Now that only works if they have a repeated question. And you might want to, in the day, say, we've been out, you can say something about out, so questions. If you're raising your hand, and you come over. Right, well, other organizations related work while I'm sitting here, but I realized that I haven't been talking about, but I also feel like it's not like I'm local here and I'm working on more stuff and this stuff.
I realized that by always being
Then don't do it. Don't do it. Be here is way more important than we have there. And so they may not understand that because they're not required to be here every day. They're here because they want to be. But from our perspective, so
This canvas stands adjourned.
Pleasure,